All right, welcome back for the final Worlds Talk of the week with One Park and
Lumen.
yeah, not as excited this time, but that's all right. Uh, you just want to get right into it. TSM, LGD, who woke up?
Woo. What a game. I remember you saying basically whoever ate their Wheaties would win this game, and it looks like TSM, they did more than just eat their Wheaties for this game.
Oh yeah,
TSM, Bjergsen, his performance on TF, first time TF was not banned against him, and apparently Lustboy doesn't know how that strat leaked out that TSM was practicing Twisted Fate in the mid, but the first time that Twisted Fate did not get banned, this is the second game that Mordekaiser did not get banned, and we have Bjergsen on Twisted Fate and Wildcard on Mordekaiser.
and they both went off.
Yes.
I think I retweeted a tweet. Uh, it was just showing like how just bullshit the third Q on Mordekaiser is. It flat out deleted Imp on Callista from like 60% health, and it was just, ugh.
And also a Mordekaiser catching up to Callista. Rito, do something about your juggernauts, especially Mordekaiser. Huge problem in my opinion. But that's a talk for another time.
Yeah. Uh, I'm reading a Reddit comment right now. It says Mord is the perfect champion for Wild Turtle. He can finally be in the front line without blowing up in 1 second.
That sounds about right. But in addition to that, we also have the third game in a row. Darius on the carry top. He's playing Darius.
And he actually did a good day. That's actually going to be a theme of today. Darius actually working out after 2 days of not really, except for a few times, maybe one time. But yeah, Bjergsen went off on TF. Turtle great. Gragas on Santorin. Santorin on Gragas, pretty good. Lost Boy a lot better performance.
Yeah, so Celestial has really stepped up. His vision control, zone controlling, his engages were all on point today. It's basically the roaming death squad with Bjergsen, Turtle, and Les Boy.
Yeah, and overnight I read some information about LGD that kind of might explain their performance. Right after their split, half of their players had to return to their countries for visa issues, and then while the other couple of them went to Korea to boot camp, they didn't. They really did not get together to work as a team for a week, and I guess it shows. But you think even then you guys got this far together. There's got to be something.
Yeah, and you LGD they did have a glimmer of hope this game with the imp going. He pulled out a pretty decent Callista performance, but like I keep saying, if Imp doesn't get going, LGD as a team doesn't get going, and that shows. You shut down Imp, which TSM did.
Yeah,
LGD crumbles.
I mean, pretty much gets going, and that's about all that gets going. But probably for the most exciting game, KT Rolster's defeat to Origin.
Ooh, Origin, Origin, Origin. When will they ever
Hypo.
stop surprising me? We both thought that KT Roaster was going to take this game because, in all honesty, KT Roaster looked like the stronger team. But Origin, they just, I don't know.
They're
They
clicking.
came to this tournament to play.
Exactly.
They they want to prove that EU is a, a, a region to contend with, the LCS in general.
Pretty much, and they, with LGD underperforming, they pretty much guaranteed they're getting out of groups.
Exactly, especially with this win over KT Roaster, is uh, I just don't know what to say. You have someday he played really well. He went 5-0-1 on Olaf. He dominated lane against SOAS. SOAS on Fiora went 3-4-4, but it's I don't know. It just seems that Origin had a way better team oriented, objective focused, rotation based gameplay.
Exactly. And that's pretty much the theme of what won a lot of teams today. So as on more of a carry-oriented top laner today with Fiora, the Frenchman on the French Mistress. He played a really good game, amazing good game. It's really a low death game. It really, like you said, came down to just objective control and who got it.
Yeah, so you have KT Roaster only taking out 4 towers the entire game, while Origin takes down 11. KT Roaster actually had one more kill over Origin, so it just seems that KT Roaster was kind of bloodthirsty instead of playing the objectives. They actually have 12 kills. Like I said, Sunday went 5-0 on Olaf. He was dominating, but Origin just had the better team play.
Yeah, and Peekaboo not really doing too hot on Alistair. Actually, that's the theme of this tournament, whereas Alistair was such a great pick going into Worlds. Alistair's really worked out so far. So, I mean, I guess he has a go-to support, but I guess we can move on to the next game where Invictus Gaming takes down AHQ.
Yes, this was a surprise to me. I honestly did not think that HQ would drop this game, but this tournament has been full of surprises, upsets, out of nowhere victories. It's been entertaining to say the least, but you have Ziv putting a poor performance on his Maokai. Is he was just stumbling, he wasn't hitting the right targets. It was just an overall poor performance.
Yeah, uh, disappointing on him. And went pretty good, but Kids Callista really good, and then the Kennen support coming up pretty big. Rookie on Victor really great, and Zataya on Shin. Even though he's gone on and said he wasn't really impressed with their win, I still feel like maybe IG is getting it together. Maybe IG is finally here at the tournament. It just took them dropping 2 games. Because these are the guys that are supposed to be giving C9 and Fnatic the most trouble, and they both kind of breezed through them.
Well, honestly, they were only expected to get Fnatic in most trouble. Everyone counted out C9,
Yeah,
but that was just this game was a surprise. There's really not much more to say about this game. It's just
yeah.
AHQ 03
No, they're 1-2.
1-2. Sorry, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. AHQ 1-2, IG 1-2. So
Well, the next game, Cloud9, the Old Faithful NA team versus Fnatic, also an Old Faithful EU team. Very similar teams, very similar playstyles. Cloud9, 3 O's, has defeated everybody else in their group once. They beat Fnatic. Fnatic
yeah,
going in the favorites in this group. Just overall, the game wasn't exactly one. It was not one-sided. The early game belonged to C9. C9's rotations were great. It was just a mid-game power spike on Huni's Yasuo that really swung it back in Fnatic's favor, and majorly so. There were great ults hit by Forbidden. Forbidden went off this game. Well, he always does. But Huni's Yasuo turned out really well, and it was a lot of mid-game fumbling. Where Sneaky didn't shine this game. He was just more objective, taking it down. Who really shone this game? Incarnation once again, but you got to give it to Balls.
yes. As much as people did not expect Balls to show up, he showed up this game on his Darius. That pentakill to basically seal the win for them
Yeah.
was it was just amazing. You have Forbidden or Oriana again. Forbidden showing that's why Oriana's still a strong pick, at least in his hands. But the main thing that worries me, when are teams going to realize that you cannot give Incarnation and Sneaky both Azir and Tristana? This is the second game in a row that Incarnation's been on Azir. I think the only champion Sneaky has played so far this tournament has been Tristana. So when you see Fnatic ban the Veigar, they I think it's like a double edged sword because if you spin the ban on Incarnation's Azir, then he'll just pick up Veigar from the first game, and you don't want to ban a Veigar and Azir because then you're leaving up people like Lulu, maybe you're leaving up a Mordekaiser. It was just uh, other teams need to realize that you cannot let Incarnation and Sneaky both get on really comfort pick champions like that.
It's
But
yeah, it's underestimation. I really do think Sneaky's getting Tristana a lot because really only the Western teams really picked up Tristana, and Fnatic is really dead set. Reckless is really good on Sivir. They're really set on him playing Sivir a lot, and I guess they're okay with giving that up because Sivir gets stronger a lot faster. She doesn't take objectives like Tristana does, but they C9 use that effectively. I guess they really were counting on their ability to team fight well, and they did pretty much so until that final team fight where it went in their favor. In fact, I think that last fight Tristana was there, but she was shut out of a lot of it.
Yes, and you have C9 winning with less kills and only a 600 gold lead. So this game was really really close. It was really real fun. It was a real fun game to watch. And but C9 takes it. They're 3-0 and every other person in their group is 1-2. So
Yeah, I
they have
think
a really good chance of making it out of groups.
high shot calling. He had a lot of questionable ones in the middle of the game. I really think what boiled down to is just Fnatic taking a bad fight. And
Yeah.
they really thought Tristana in the back wasn't going to do anything, but in this meta, if a Darius isn't taken care of properly, he can do a lot of damage. I mean, he got the penta. He didn't even know he got the penta. It was the fadeaway, Sivir walking away with the bleed. They didn't even know it was a penta till it said pentakill on screen.
Yes.
I just listened to the voice comms right before we recorded this, and yeah, it really was like, High goes, dude, wait, you got a penta? It was pretty funny to hear. But not to fault his shot calling, High had some plays on Lee Sin today.
Yes, he did. He did have some plays. It's nice to see High in one of those let me set up my team type
Yeah,
moods. But I guess he's always in those moods ever since he turned over to jungler. But he had some really magnificent plays to set up his teammates, and it shows like
yeah.
C9.
Yeah, for once, the bot lane for C9 not playing too hot. Elimination Sneaky, like I said, not having the greatest game. Reckless, real good game. Forbidden, real good game. Like it just came down to a late game fight, and Huni's Yasuo just got taken out.
And I also feel like we were talking about how Incarnation and Sneaky pick up the slack from everyone else, but also even if you look at this game, when Sneaky and Elimination aren't doing too hot, it's like Balls and High pick up the slack. So
Exactly, it
there's
shows they're a
always
good five-man team.
there's always someone there to pick up the slack if people aren't doing too hot. Like the first two games, you had Incarnation and Sneaky picking up the slack from Balls. This game, you have Balls and High picking up the slack from Sneaky and Elimination. So it's they're looking really strong right now.
Yeah. Well, that was a really great moment for me. Then followed up by CLG completely shitting the bed against Coup Tigers, but finally glad to see Coup Tigers show up. Because this
Yeah,
is the Coup Tigers everybody expected, and they ran over them. And I'll let you go over your thoughts first, because I have a completely different thought about this game, maybe.
um, it seems to me that this is the coup Tigers everyone expected. You have coup banning Vigar, Darius, Lulu. I don't really agree with the coup banning out Pobelter's Vigar. You have basically like the Western style Pobelter on Azir, double lift on Tristana, but it was just coup Tigers basically just they dominated. They started snowballing by camping Zion Spartan, and they shut down Zion Spartan, who's on the top Olaf. They get Kennen going, who like cannot be stopped at all. And you have Prey hitting every single arrow, like he cannot miss. And it was just gorillas hitting binds on Morgana, Prey's Ash, Kuro's Victor, Hojan's Rek'Sai setting up his team, and then Smeb's Kennen's just all around Coup Tigers thoroughly dominated CLG, and CLG was bumbling around the map. Looked like they did not know what they were doing. They were trying to. I really don't know what CLG was doing this game. It's like they just didn't show up at all. It's like they woke up this morning and were like, "Oh, we're playing Coup today. Oh, don't worry about it. We'll go party or something." I don't know what happened
Yeah,
to
that's
CLG.
a lot of people are suspecting complacency, but a big thing that happened here was during the picks and bans phase. Uh, they did not expect that to be a Kennen solo lane. They really expected it to be a Kennen support, and that's why Afromu went with the Blitzcrank because it was pretty much he had Alistair up. He had every other support he can play up. Probably would have done a lot better if he would have gone on Alistair or somebody else because the Blitzcrank really was an effective pick here. And I guess he really thought with the Kennen bot lane, he didn't think that would lessen the amount of people to protect the Ash, which it would have. But the second they do that, they just flex the Kennen top, and Gorilla goes on Morgana, which is like all you need against a Blitz, and against this team, really. And then another thing, and it's really a trend, especially going into Worlds, Pobelter is not a strong solo lane mid laner. He really excelled in the past two games when he's on Lulu, where it's protect the carry and Zion or double lift. He on champions like Azir, he doesn't really shine, and it just really goes to show he's probably the best mid laner they could have got, and I just don't know if he's world's class. I mean, maybe it's just an off game he had. Maybe I really think CLG threw themselves under the bus in that pick and bans phase, and then like you said, just Ku showing up. Kuro, to even disregard that, stomped all over Pobelter on Victor, complete domination. Double lift, uncharacteristically performing bad. That Prey going off on Ashe. It's just, there's a lot of things, and Pobelter's gonna have to step it up. If he can't use something that can protect double lift, you got to learn to be a carry, because that's your position, mid lane AP carry, and I just think he's got to step it up.
I agree. It's I agree with that, but at some point you kind of have to blame the coaching staff too, because if the CLG's coaching staff was doing their homework, they would have realized that Smeb has played Kennen top before, and you don't just insta lock a Blitzcrank because you see that Kennen, then you think you support. Like
Yeah,
a Kennen is a really a flex pick. So at that point, like you have to be like, all right, well, if he's top or if he's bottom, but he couldn't be top. And honestly, when's the last time you've seen a Kennen support to?
earlier today.
Okay, touche. But you, CLG's coach, I feel like
I mean, Gorilla also plays Kennen support. It's one of those ace in the holes. They could just lock in that Kennen. You don't know where he's going to take him. It's a really good trick to have in picks and bans.
but also at the same vein though, you have to think like coaching staff should realize that
Yeah, like I said, I just do not agree with the Blitzcrank pick here.
like you, I I would have maybe liked to see them like maybe save the Blitzcrank pick because it looks like
Yeah,
they picked up the Blitzcrank and
they fell for the bait. That's hook, line, and
yes
sinker. I don't understand.
they
Coach,
picked up.
this isn't it isn't like C9 where elimination's really in charge of the picks and bans. I really got to think whoever does the picks and bans for CLG is going to have to evaluate. You can't do something like that early into a pick and ban phase.
Right. It was on the second rotation, so I guess they were trying to like bait out their top laner too, so they could give Zion Spartan a easier chance. But I don't know. I don't
It's
know
yeah,
because
it's this group though.
yes, this
Group A
group.
is just so weird in the fact that everybody's basically beat everybody, but everybody's also lost to everybody.
Yeah.
It's
Group A was called the Group of Life. Now it's just
yeah, it's group of people showing up. I guess we can go straight into it. Pain Gaming takes down Flash Wolves.
yeah. What a surprise this
What
was.
a surprise that was!
And it wasn't even Pain Gaming just taking out Flash Wolves. It was Pain Gaming dominating Flash Wolves. Flash Wolves had some promise sometimes in the game. Like they would come back and they would look like they were doing well. Like they took Baron, they swung a 4K gold lead closer to their favor, but still didn't quite take it over. They pushed down. They were the first people to take down one of Pain's inhibitors, but Pain's team fights. Mylon's Gnar
That
alt,
that Gnar, great Gnar play.
Kami's Twisted Fate. Like this game,
This upset Group A. Like this really shakes up the standings because how can a team that lost to everybody beat the Flash Wolves, and the Flash Wolves has beat everybody but CLG? Well, okay, I guess that just means Coup, but still, it's just the overall. Coup can beat CLG. CLG can beat Flash Wolves. Flash Wolves can beat Coup, and then there's Pain going in there to fuck it up.
yeah, and then Pain beating Flash Wolves. This game, for
Yeah,
what many consider to be the easiest group, is one of the most interesting groups too.
exactly. Especially with all the people not showing up, like the LPL teams not showing up, especially. People are really thinking like it really goes to show you how people were counting out certain groups. Like Group B, people just assumed Invictus Gaming and Fnatic going straight on ahead, easy peasy. Maybe AHQ throws some wrenches in there, but I mean, Group C is pretty much going as people expected. That's about the only one.
Yeah,
And
that
then,
is about the only one going.
yeah, Group D, Origin, upsetting. I mean, LGD not showing up. Man, I guess we'll talk about that later also, because we were going to do a little in between the week video. I don't know
Yeah.
what day that'll go up. But, shoot. That Pain victory, though, that was, whew.
It was a real fun game to watch too. If you missed that game, you really missed a treat. But like I said, Pain Game versus Flash Wolves, this group A, what is going on in this group A? Like, uh, shaping up to be a very, very good Worlds, and I really like that. I really like that you
Yeah.
really don't know what's gonna happen.
It's like, usually, where it's like, let's hope our NA teams draw an easy group, or we somehow manage to survive to get past to the quarterfinals, or C9 gets a bye and gets to it. It's just NA is actually showing up. NA's and not even NAEU are showing up and actually being really threatening.
Yeah, it looks like they're showing that the gap between regions really isn't as big as people thought it was. Actually, it might not even be non. It might not even exist now. It seems like a lot of these regions are on par with each other, and it's it's really showing.
It's this new. I think really what it is it's this really new meta hitting everybody, pretty much recently and all at once, and it's showing who's adaptive. And
Yeah,
I really do like it.
I like how Dyrus put it. He said, "Worlds isn't about who's the best; it's about who can get better the fastest."
Yeah, really. But I guess we can predict the games for technically week 2, but it's on Thursday. Uh,
Indeed.
yeah,
We,
it's Group A day.
do we want to predict those now or?
Uh, I guess we can say it now, and maybe if we change our minds later, and it's just another couple added minutes. First game of the day, we have the rematch of CLG versus Coup, and I can only see that going Coup's way unless CLG goes
Well,
back and reviews that game.
maybe we should preface this by saying the second week of groups, each day only one
Yeah,
group plays, so each team plays 3 times the second week of groups.
yeah,
So after Thursday's over, we'll know who's making it out of Group A.
yeah,
And so, like I said, CLG versus Coot, like in games like this, also you have to take into consideration fatigue because people are playing multiple times. Like Pain Gaming has 2 games in a row. Uh, so like, what happens if they get crushed the first game and then they have to turn around and play like the second game? Like their morale wouldn't be high. But we'll talk about that when we get to it. But for CLG Coup Tigers, I might have to give them some Coup Tigers
yeah.
unless
That's
CLG can.
They're gonna have to evaluate every position at every level and realize what they did wrong. Uh, I've seen CLG bounce back. Let's hopefully they do it quickly. You have 3 days to prep. Uh, Coup Tigers maybe not. They're 2-1. I really think it boiled down to CLG getting cocky and just assuming they had it.
Yeah,
A complacency. I just really think just take it back. Look at what you're at. You're not guaranteed getting out of groups because Flash Wolves could go 3-0. They
yep.
really could. They have the ability to. But I mean, anybody here at this point can go 3-0 and win. I mean, that's true of any group right now. So I guess Coup, unless CLG changes up something. The next match is Flash Wolves versus Pain Gaming.
I really like Flash Will's tenacity against the Pain Gaming that they just showed. That being said, the Pain Gaming does have. It looks like they got their stuff together and they have a better team fight than Flash Wolves. But Flash Wolves plays a better objective focused game, and I think if Flash Wolves doesn't get ahead of themselves, they do have the better players, in my opinion. And if Flash Wolves doesn't get ahead of themselves and just focus on the objective and doesn't fall into Pain Gaming's chaos style of playing, Flash Wolves takes this game.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. And I guess you can say the same thing about Coup. Coup is a stronger team, and they play. This is the game Pain Gaming plays 2 in a row. They play Coup Tigers next, and I'm just gonna go with Coup because Coup's finally showing up and winning.
Yeah, so I'm also gonna go with Coup too, because like you said, they've woken up, they've seen the light.
Yeah. And then I guess we can skip down to the next one, which is the Flash Wolves versus CLG.
Rematch
It was a
is
close game. If CLG can come back, pretty much if you handle team fights like you do, because you showed that you could in y'all's first match that you can lose the early game and then win late game, which is something you used to not be able to do. It showed how far they've come. So if they can repeat that again, or maybe even handle the early game better, because they pretty much have superior team fighting to Flash
yeah,
Wolves play. That's why it makes me think if Flash Wolves is more objective based, CLG can learn to close out games and just handle team fights better. I think they can take it.
I agree with the CLG part, but CLG these past three games they played, they have shown me that they really I don't know if it's underestimating their opponents, but they lose games that they shouldn't. They do stuff that they shouldn't. Like they fumble around the map a lot, and if that CLG shows up, Flash Wolves easily takes this game because the first game, even to CLG's own like admission, that was a way closer game than it should have been. Like they should have handily defeated Flash Wolves, but Flash Wolves showed that they have superior early game over CLG, but CLG showed they have superior team fight in late game. But I honestly think that, especially if CLG loses the coup earlier in the day, I think Flash Wolves will take this one. I really want CLG to win, but CLG hasn't showed me anything that they're fixing. They haven't fixed anything yet, and I guess we won't know till Thursday if they have fixed their problems coming into this tournament. But if they aren't fixed, Flash Wolves is taking this game.
Mm, I'd have to disagree because Flash Wolves has a lot of problems too in of themselves, which takes me into them versus Coup Tigers. Do I think they'll beat Coup Tigers again? I don't think so. I think Coup's finally setting themselves straight. I really think Coup Tigers only really thought CLG was going to be a problem, pretty much like what everybody expected. And I think Coup's finally woken up. And I think they're gonna, especially Flash playing two in a row. I think Coup Tigers might smash Flash.
Yeah, I think yeah, coming off of CLG is going to be a hard game, and Coup Tigers. I feel like they would have learned what Flash Wolves does at that point, because at that point they would have watched five Flash Wolves games, and this is the Flash Wolves' last game. So if they're paying any attention, I think Coup Tigers takes this game, unless Flash Wolves pulls out something against Coup Tigers that like keeps them get sets them off guard.
Yeah.
But I'm in agreement. Coup Tigers should take this game.
And then final is Pain Gaming versus CLG. If it's any sort of trend, this will be the game that CLG loses and doesn't get them out of group because that's just the CLG way.
Yeah,
But
well,
I think Pain might have got their only win.
maybe. I'm gonna give this one a CLG for the simple fact that looking at Pain Gaming's game, it seems that they thrive in chaos.
Exactly.
CLG
Also
also,
does
yeah,
thrive in
plays a
chaos.
chaotic game style. Well, they can, and
Yeah.
when if it comes down to a chaotic game, CLG will win this one. And it seems like that's the only style Pain Gaming can actually really play. So I feel like CLG will just take objectives better than Pain Gaming. They'll team fight better than Pain Gaming, and then Pain Gaming will try something desperate to throw the game into chaos, and then CLG will also do that better than Pain Gaming. So I feel like CLG will take this game.
Yeah. Well, I guess tally up what your wins are. I think currently I'd have standings at for Group A, Coup rank 1, CLG, that would make Pain Gaming last, of course, with 1-5. Flash Wolves, I think I'd predict them at best going 2-4, 3-3, in which case the 3-3 would tie Counterlogic's 3-3, and then there'd be a tiebreaker.
Yes,
And
I believe we said cool. Take that.
yeah, so I'm thinking, assuming Counterlogic loses to Coup again, that'd leave them 2-2, and then Flash Wolves beating Pain would bring them to 2-2. Coup over Pain would bring them to 3-1 and Pain win 3. That's just me, and then this is where we differ. If I predict CLG's winning, then that makes them that would make them
3-2.
3-2. Yeah, 3-2, and then you would have them at 2-3, and then Flash Wolves would be at 3-2. Yeah,
Yes.
and then Coup would beat Flash Wolves. That would bring them to 3-3, and then CLG beating Pain Gaming would be 3-3, and it would be a tie. So it really boils down to, at this point, that rematch of Flash Wolves versus Counter Logic Gaming. That's the game to watch on Thursday. Assuming CLG doesn't perform an upset, and likewise Flash Wolves. It's going to come down to that game unless either team can beat Coup and the other doesn't. In which case that game's also interesting, might not matter.
Right. Like I said, the Group 8, Group of Life, probably the most interesting group right now.
Yeah, easily.
Well, I guess this has been World's Talk.
Day 4, and as usual, we're sponsored by Shibari Personal Lubricant. It's water-based, and you're a water-based life form. Think about it. Alright, that's how it's going to end.
Wait, you didn't say we didn't sign off.
Oh yeah, well, now we're rattling off. Alright, well, I've been One Park.
And I've been Lumen.
Alright, we'll see you later. Remember, we're all lubricant inside.
Kill Yasuo. Careful, careful. Yo, backline.
You win that.
Yo, get him. Let's
Nice.
go. Yo, good shit. Holy shit. You got Penta. Yo, we win. We win.
We win.
What the hell?